Welcome to part 4 of Adventure. We have just crossed the volcano and are going to go now into the passages behind it. Now, last time we came across a Minotaur who was blocking the way, and you have to say his name. Now, near the Hall of the Mountain King there's a passage to the tool room, and the tool is called the Volcano range. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but that is the name of the statue, so we say his name. So we say Melkuron, Volcano, and it says, rocks silently crumble off the wall in front of you, revealing dark passages leading northwest, north and northeast. I'm going to have to light the lamp in a minute, so we'll take the passage leading northeast first. It's pitch dark. If you proceed, you'll likely fall into a pit, so we'll relight the lamp. It says, your lamp is now on. You're a windy passage which extends from the northwest, loops several times, and exits north. So we're going north. You're in a chamber with golden walls and a high ceiling. Passages lead south, northeast, and northwest. So we're going northeast first. It says, you're in a small room whose walls are covered with elaborate passings of arabesque figures and designs. There's a small, tightly sealed earthenware flask on the ground here. It has the words London Dry written on the side. So we'll take the flask. It's got a spirit inside. And we'll go south again. You're in the Golden Chamber. So now we're going to go northwest. You're in a large room whose walls are composed of some translucent whitish material. The room is illuminated by flickering reddish glow shining through the southern wall. A passage leads east. There's an ancient Chinese jade bracelet here, so we're going to take the bracelet. Now, this bracelet is not unguarded. If we go east, back, it says you're in the Golden Chamber. Suddenly, without warning, there appears from the very cave walls around you a horde of vicious-looking little goblins. Each one stands about 8 inches high on a pair of spindly black legs, has a globular spine-covered body resembling a giant gooseberry, a wide mouth filled with sharp teeth, and a pair of glittering little green eyes. They swarm around you and try and block your way, and these goblins will kill you. But have you ever heard that teeth sewn into the ground, dragon's teeth, in fact, will actually grow into warriors? Well, I have, and it's just as well, because if I throw the teeth, it says, as each of the dragon's teeth strikes the ground, a fully armed human skeleton springs up from where it struck and leaps to your defence. The skeletal warriors attack the vicious gooseberry goblins and drive them away in a scampering panic. They then salute you with ancient and rusty swords and fail us silently into nothingness. So we'll go south, which takes us to the winding passage, and we go northwest. It says you're at the north end of the Valley of the Stone Faces. Dark tunnels lead northeast, north and northwest, and we will go northwest. It says you're standing in the southern end of what appears to be a large room filled with a multicoloured fog. The sides and far end of the room cannot be seen due to the thickness of the fog. It's real pea souper, even to the colour in places. A passage leads back to the south. A dull rumbling issues from the passage. So we will go north. It says you're lost in a mist of thick pea green fog. Now if we switch the lamp off here, it will say a faint shimmer of light is visible to the south. Now the visible shimmer of light is always random, so you have to switch the lamp off to go there, but we'll head towards that shimmer to the south. You're standing in a fog-filled room next to a tall cairn of glowing rock, and opening the cairn leads down to a dark passage, so we'll go down. It's pitch dark. If you proceed, you're likely to fall into a pit, so we'll light the lamp. It says you're in a small nondescript chamber. A dark passage leads up to the south, and a wide but low crawl leads north. There's a small toy yacht sitting on the floor. It's totally covered with rubies and it has the words Oma Kayam engraved on the side. So we'll take the yacht. And we'll go north. You're in a small room with a very small, smooth rock floor onto which has been marked a pentagram. A low crawl leads out to the west, and a crack in the rock leads north. Now, how do you confound a spirit? Let's drop the flask. You have set the flask down in the centre of the pentagram. So now we'll open the flask. The wax seal breaks easily. A cloud of dark smoke pours up from the mouth of the flask and condenses to the form of a 12-foot djinn standing in the pentagram. He pushes experimentally at the magic wall of the pentagram, which holds, and nods positively to you. "My thanks, O mortal," he says in an immensely deep bass voice. "It has been 3,000 years since Solomon sealed me into the bottle, and I am grateful that you have released me. If you will open this pentagram and let me go free, I'll give you some advice that you may one day wish to possess." Now, if you open the flask anywhere else, he says he would reward you, but dashes off saying he hasn't eaten for 3,000 years, but he's made a deal with me. So if I open the pentagram, the pentagram's magical barrier sparks fitfully and goes down. The djinn stretches gratefully and smiles at you. "Again my thanks," he says. "My advice to you will take the form of a history lesson. When Ralph Witt, the architect and constructor of this cave, was very young, he became incensed that his name was at the end of the alphabet. He felt, for some reason, that the letter W belonged near the beginning of the alphabet, and that all of those upstart letters which unfairly usurped the best places should be forced into exile at the end of the alphabet. His instinct for the matters magical and mystical led him to apply this strange belief into the cave structure when he excavated it. You haven't been affected by his strange habits, but you should remember this. Farewell and good luck." With that, the djinn evaporates into a cloud of smoke and drifts rapidly away. Now, I'm not sure where to apply this advice, but I do have an idea of where it will be, and I'll talk to you about that at the right time. So from the pentagram we go, I'll take the flask. I don't actually need it, but I like to carry the flask, just like I like to take the bird with me. And we'll go north. The crack in the rock ends here, but a narrow chimney leads up. You should be able to climb it. A last phosphorescent cloud of smoke drifts into view. A large mouth and two eyes take shape on the side. One of the eyes winks at you, and the djinn's deep voice says, "Greetings again, mortal. I have remembered a piece of ancient lore that I learned from my aunt, and a feat of great known knowledge. There is another magic word that you might find of use if you should ever find yourself being attacked by those pestiferous dwarves. You should use it only as a last resort, though, since it is a most potent word and is prone to backfire for no obvious reason. Also, it should never be used near water or near any sharp weapon, or the results may be most unfortunate. The word is Fug," whispers the djinn, "and it must be pronounced carefully. If it is to have the proper effect, farewell again, and good luck." With that, the djinn drifts away, out of sight. Now, I shouldn't need to use that word, but it is useful to know. So let's climb up the chimney. You're at the top of a narrow chimney in the rock. A cylindrical tube composed of hardened lava leads south, so we'll go south. The lava tube continues down to the south and becomes very steep here. If you go down, you'll not be able to get back up. So we'll go south again. Whee! Oof! You're at the south end of the fog-filled room, so we'll go south again, which takes us back to where the Minotaur was. You're at the north end of the Valley of the Stone Faces. Dark tunnels lead northeast, north and northwest, so we'll go north now. You're in a narrow and rough passage running north and south. A dull rumbling can be heard from the south. There's a basilisk lying in the corridor to the north, snoring quietly. Well, this is a sleeping basilisk, so we won't disturb it. We'll tiptoe past it to the north. The basilisk stirs restlessly and grumbles in its sleep as you pass, but it does not awaken. You're in a rough passage to the north of the basilisk's den. There's a basilisk lying in the corridor to the south. It is asleep, but twitching and grumbling as if restless. So we'll go north. And it says, the tunnel here enters from the south and divides with a wide tunnel exit to the north and a set of steps leading downwards. We'll drop the flask here for a moment, and we'll go down. It says you're on a long spiral set of steps leading downwards into the earth, so we'll continue down the steps. And it says a small exit from the steps leads north. The steps continue downwards, so we'll continue down. And it says you're in what was once a storage room. The steps lead up. A highly polished metal plate is leaning against the wall, so we'll take the plate. We'll need that in a minute. And we'll go up. You're in the exit to the steps. Now we go north. You're in a large room with passages to the north and a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There's a large Y2 on the rock of the room's centre. Sound familiar? Well, it's not the Y2 we know, but if you say plug, you appear in a ledge thousands of feet above the volcano. So we're going to go west. You're in catacombs. Enchanted channels lead in all directions. Now, the enchanted catacombs cause all sorts of problems because I couldn't get out of them, but I have now worked out the way through and back. Now, it says you're in the catacombs, enchanted channels lead in all directions, so I won't say anything as I go through unless it's different. So we go south, southwest, northwest, south, down, west, northwest, north, south, north and east. You're standing at the west end of a royal audience hall. The walls here are composed of the finest marble, and the floor is built of slabs of roan, onyx and bloodstone. The ceiling is high and vaulted, and is supported by pillars of rare Egyptian red granite. It gives off a noxious glow which fills the entire chamber with a light like moonlight shining off polished silver. Now from the Royal Audience Hall we go east. You're at the east end of the Royal Audience Hall. There's a large dais rising out of the floor here. Resting upon the dais is a strange looking throne made out of interlocking bars of rods and metal. Resting on the throne, sitting isn't really the right word, is an incredible skeleton. It is fairly humanoid from the waist up, except for its incredible size and 4 extra arms. Below that, it resembles the body of a giant python and is wrapped in and around the bars and rods of the throne. Clutched in one bony hand is a long sceptre, ornately encrusted with sapphires. So we'll take the sceptre. You pluck the sceptre from the skeleton's bony hand. As you do so, the skeleton raises its head and whispers, "Remember Zorton," in a foreboding tone. It then sags to the ground and crumbles into dust, which drifts away in the still air of the cave. Now there are several words it tells you to remember, but in this case time it was Zorton. Now we're going to go back through the catacombs and back across the volcano, but we'll do that in part 4. So thank you for watching part 3, I'll see you in part 4.